Hang in there. That's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
This is The Smylie Show. We are live from TBonz in Augusta, Georgia. I mean, does it get any better than this, Smylie? TBonz, the Masters Week, 2024 Masters here. I mean, I think the place we should start here really is, this is where we met in person for the first time 1 year ago, and you were right over there hula hooping at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. I wouldn't have it any other way. We went from hula hooping to taping a live.
I think I won some cash on how long could I actually hula hoop.
You did.
I hit the over, which was huge.
I had the under,
but
I was surprised.
For real though, last year was my first time coming to TBonz, and man, just had such a good time. We had such a good crew here last year. They gave us the aux cord, which was a terrible mistake.
Awful.
But it
you
kept
played
us
some
here.
bangers. Yeah, I mean, it kept us here late.
Played entirely too much Taylor Swift. But yeah, this is what dreams are made of. It's Augusta week. Walked the course today. I'm just so ready to get the week started.
Really and truly. I think the place we have to start here, because we are at TBonz, is we got to mention the late owner of TBonz, Mark Cumins. Actually, just back here inside, they made a really nice toast to him. He hosted patrons here at TBonz for 35 years and passed last year from cancer. You met Mark here.
I did.
Right?
I did. Yeah, I had a chance to meet him last year, and really getting to meet his family as well today. I met him last year as well, but just to kind of hear the stories that they told, really cool just to be a part of, really just, they welcomed us too. They were like, yes, please. And should we make this an annual thing? They were like, please. And we're like, and we're like, really?
Okay. Where do we sign for that?
Yeah, we're definitely in, because this place is, when you think of Augusta National, I mean, it's like, hey, where are you going tonight? We're going to TBonz.
It's the club, and it's TBonz.
Yeah.
And so with that, Mark, this one's for you, buddy.
Yeah, cheers.
And yeah, cheers. Here we go. Thank you. Just got to take a sip, of course. Got to, what do you call that? Commence the cheers?
Yes.
Things of that nature. Okay, let's do. And this really the other place we started. This is our first show with Sports Grid. Super excited. We got the hat here, a little Sports Grid action. We're doing a little live Masters preview. And so let's just get right into the Masters. I think the place to start is we got a lot of storylines we want to break down, a lot of players we want to discuss, but let's hear it from a player's perspective. You played in the 2016 Masters. You were here. You were in the final group with Jordan Spieth on a Sunday at Augusta National, coming down the stretch there.
Getting me all excited.
I mean, as you should. Made it 2 on 12. Many people forget.
People didn't get to watch it because I was already cut from coverage.
We don't have to mention that piece.
No, I'll take you through the day.
Please do.
Sunday.
Or through the week. Let's start. Just give us like sketch out a week at Augusta National from the Masters for a tour pro.
Well, first off, I was ready when I got here. First off,
okay.
I mean, all the homework was done. I felt like I was a veteran when I got here. I know that's kind of cocky to say, but I felt like when Tiger Woods today was talking about just knowing where to miss it, I felt really comfortable with that. And I think my team just had a lot of players that have been here before and had success. So I just relied on that data. So when I got here, I felt really comfortable because I'd come here and done the prep. I knew exactly where to miss it. But getting here during the week, still, I think one of the weirdest things is just the locker room. And you're like, wait, I'm peeing right now at Augusta National. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, no, I'm eating a sandwich in the locker room at Augusta National. So those are all real things that you feel as a rookie. I'm driving down the lane at Magnolia Lane at Augusta National. So these are all totally things that I've just had just wild, just in the fact that, I was playing in the Masters. I dreamt of it for so long.
And that team, I think we talked about this. James Seekman was on that team.
Yeah,
he said he had a lot of great tips for you. Here, look, see, we're getting some Augusta flavor here. We're getting a little horn honks on the way by.
That's not the soundboard either.
I wish we could. Maybe I'll have to take a picture on my phone so you guys can get it. This is great. We have a car backing out in front of us. I mean, really, we got to insert some behind the scenes action here too. It's amazing. I think a car might back into our camera and our light here.
If we get run over during the show, that would be great content. Probably the best we've ever produced.
Yeah, it'd be better than whatever we have lined up for tonight.
Well, hold on. Let me finish this story before we get off track.
I think we're maybe 5 minutes in and we're already off the rails, so that's good. Yes, no, please continue.
So I'll say that Thursday and Friday, the Masters is really the easiest cut to make of any of the majors.
Small field.
I even showed up with that attitude. I was like, this is like, there's like less amount of dudes. The cut's like not as bad. And I showed up thinking like, I'm going to make the cut. I'm going to be here on the weekend. And that happened. It was a windy year. But Sunday comes around and you never had a 3:30 tee time and wake up at 6:30 in the morning and figure out what to do all day.
So hold on a sec. Can I stop you there? Because I watched the interview you did with Dylan DeChair. Do you have the script? Did you watch Tin Cup?
I watched Tin Cup. It was on. There was a rerun of that going on, and of all the things you could watch before the final group of the Masters on a Sunday, Tin Cup is not one of them.
Yeah.
So I got to the 11th hole where I had four 3-putts on the front nine, and the biggest problem that I had that day was just I couldn't get any momentum going. Nothing's going in the hole, and the famous line in Tin Cup. We were like, should you switch the change from one pocket to the other? And I did that on the 11th hole. Like, and I've never had
And then you made a birdie on 12.
And then I made a birdie on 12. So
something to it.
I switched the mojo. Unfortunately, it was a reverse mojo for Jordan because he was going to win, and then it didn't happen.
Can you just share that story again? Because it's happened a number of times on the podcast. Hello, see we got some locals here dropping in. Hey,
TBonz. Let's get it. You'll have a wonderful.
All right, there
you go.
you heard the gentleman off camera there. There are a lot of entertainment options here in Augusta, Georgia.
Hell yeah.
Full play.
Can you do the buzzer? Like the
Yes. Yeah, we have sound effects now. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't have the thing turned up. Hold on. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, there we go.
I mean, next time we're gonna get a guy come in and give us. Was that like thing?
I think that was a thing.
Yeah. We're gonna cut that.
We're probably gonna cut that, or we can just bleep it. We could also bleep us saying too. This is a real problem because I have to edit the show for a 7 a.m. turnaround. I might just not sleep tonight. We've talked about that possibility too. I might just not sleep and just go straight to Augusta National and no sleep. Here's where I was starting before that kind gentleman came in to plug his various locales in and around Augusta, Georgia. Was the story's been told on the podcast a number of times. Justin has told the story. Jordan's told the story. But please tell the story of moving from 12. The score Jordan made, the score you made, and going to that 13th tee.
Well, when walking off the 9th hole, I was so mad because felt like I was hitting it better than Jordan that day, and he was just beating me down. And I got to the 10th hole, the 10th tee, and he makes bogey on 10, he makes bogey on 11, and I'm thinking, okay, he's fine. He's fine. Then he gets to 12 and then hits it in the water. I'm like, okay, he's kind of fine, but he definitely doesn't need to do anything like crazy here as well. And I saw him take this insanely wild drop that I'll never understand why he dropped so far back. Because I'm up at the green, I just hit this beautiful high cut 9-iron, 10 feet left of it, and he drops like 80 yards away, and I'm like, what is he doing? Because the greens were firm,
right?
And he's gotten up and down from everywhere the entire day. And if he drops it right next to like Ray's Creek right there and just chips it on and makes a 5, like that was like to me like the big mistake was like where he dropped.
Have you ever talked to him about that? Asked him why he did that?
Hell no.
You can take phone calls on this board too. That's another thing.
No,
Maybe just dial a friend right now to see what Jordan Spieth's doing.
Oh gosh.
So 10:46 p.m.
The rest of the round goes on. I mean, I actually played fine that day. It was the best 81 I've ever shot. I mean, I didn't play bad. I just putted, just couldn't get in the hole. But just like to tie a knot on Jordan that day, we get into the scoring tent, and that was where, because like we shook hands, we kind of looked at each other and like we're good, and then we get in the scoring tent, and that's the moment where I'm like, holy crap, this guy like got to put the jacket on Danny Willett, and that's when he realized it too, and it was tough to watch for someone just kind of it slipped through their fingers. So I
Yeah.
think for me, being a part of an experience like that, like just feeling like I was a fly on the wall almost, because
Yeah.
I was cut from the coverage by number 9. So like the whole back nine, I was just kind of cruising. I was just a supporting actor, if you will.
Yeah.
But man, if you're gonna do Augusta National and just play the Masters one time, you might as well play in the final group. You might as well be a part of
There are worse
history
fates.
in a supporting actor role, and you might as well make a hole-in-one in the par 3 contest. So
I think a lot of people would take that week in a heartbeat. I think that, we've had a lot of forgettable 77s and pack your bags and head on your way. So I would take,
Dude, it
I
was
think
fun.
a
It was a
whole
lot
one
of
of the
fun.
par 3, making the final group, and yeah, part of Masters history in a way.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and so I think with that, you and I have talked kind of about how we want to talk about this Masters. You sent over some really cool research, and there's a tweet in specific that I think is going to help frame this entire discussion for us in terms of, what are the trends, right? I'm scared to death to get to later in the show and we have to make our one and done picks, because
we're hot.
boy, do we have a lot of pressure on us there.
We are hot. The only thing I'm worried about with TBonz is that we light this place on fire from being too hot from picking winners.
We're in a real heater scenario at this point in time.
It's similar like when you're playing good golf and you're like, I'll never make another bogey again.
Yes.
Or it's like when you're losing and you cannot pick a winner to save your life, and you're like, I'll never play a good round of golf again. I'll never make another eagle or chip in.
Yeah.
Right now we don't even know where the rough is. We don't even know where.
I feel like whoever we pick is going to win. Like, I feel like we have the power to choose the winner of this tournament.
I know. I'm surprised more guys haven't reached out.
And they might, and they probably will. I'll tell you also how it feels like for me, if I'm being totally honest, is like if you're playing craps and you're at the table and you got a hot hand and you're like, this is great. Like, no one's, it's just you and your buddy, and you're like, oh, we're making a bunch of money, racking it in. And then people kind of notice you're on a roll, and like more people show up at the table, more people, and they're like people watching. You're like, oh, like now my hands are sweating a little bit.
No, that's when you embrace it.
I'm getting a little bit, I'm getting the heart pounding a little bit. It's like people are texting you, hey, who's your pick? Who's your pick? I don't know if I love that pressure. So let's just hope we pick a winner this week so we can just keep
it's
it
gonna
rolling.
happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
You got to get a hot hand, got a hand.
Unfortunately, you've already burned Scotty.
I've already been spent, but you haven't. So we're good.
I am not.
We're good either way.
Maybe that'll be my pick. Maybe I save him. I don't know.
Something tells me you're not going to save him.
I don't know.
I've
We'll
already
see.
got his name in the Google Doc, so I think it's binding. So the tweet I referenced earlier. So this is from Ron Klos. He's at PGA Splits 101.
And a great follow, by the way, just for any
Yes.
basic information on the week ahead. His data set of how he determines who's played well in the past there is a really cool tool that I've used a couple weeks. So shout out to Ron.
Yeah, and it's a great. He gives you like 20 trends of Masters winners. Where it's like a consistent theme of like more than 75 to 95% of Masters winners fit into this trend. So there are 20 of them on this list. We're going to talk about 5 of them tonight, and then kind of give you some of his takeaways and decide whether or not we like, whether we were buying this trend or maybe selling this trend. So we're going to start with 44 of the last 44 winners of the Masters tournament have played in at least one previous edition of the Masters.
I wish I could have broken that trend.
That would have been really sick. Would have been really, really sick.
Yeah. Wait, say that again?
44 of the last 44
Okay, so
winners.
Fuzzy. Hold on. Like, is this the rookie thing?
This is the Masters rookie thing, and so here's some names I want to throw at
Fuzzy
you.
Zower won in.
You got to take this up with Ron Klos.
Huh?
You got to take this up with Ron Klos, not me.
When did Fuzzy Zower win?
We'll have to get. You are our research department.
Yeah, hold on. I'll check it out.
Well, let's you pull up the Fuzzy Zeller wiki, okay, and you can get us some stats on that. There are really 2 names I want to talk about, but I want to throw 2 at the end.
1979.
Yes, that's. I'm not a math guy, but that's far more than 44 years ago, right? 2024,
Yeah.
24. Oh, that was the last one.
Okay,
That
there it
was
is. I'm like, hold on. Fuzzy Zower's like.
We got there.
Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah, okay.
Great
All right.
research by us. Here's what I want to discuss in this sort of category. You got Ludwig Oberg, who's a 30 to 1 odds to win. He's kind of near the top of the board. Wyndham Clark at 45 to 1. And then as we get a little further down, I want to throw in Akshay Bhatia and Denny McCarthy at 100-1. Those two guys had a hot week last week and kind of come in. Denny was already in. Akshay gets in by virtue of the win. But so let's start with Ludwig. And a lot of people are picking him this week. They really like him.
I like Ludwig.
You do?
Yeah, I do a lot.
Is that because he has the experience of playing in a Ryder Cup? Like he's coming in with an unusual amount of experience to the Masters that most Masters rookies do not have.
I think you got to start at Augusta National first, and this is like where we start to buy or sell these trends. And obviously, 44 out of the last 44 is that's a trend.
That's a trend. As far as trends go, that's a trend. Yeah.
But have we had a Ludwig Oberg and a Wyndham Clark showing up to Augusta National? I say no. And both of these guys, when you look at their games, can they hit it really far? Yep. Okay, that's a box checked.
Yep.
And the other one, can they hit all the shots with their irons? Can they hit it up in the air? Yes, to both. So that's the starting point that you need at Augusta National, is to be able to ball strike it. When you look at like the past winners here at the Masters, I would say that if you find somebody that's an outlier to the ball striking statistics, it would probably be Patrick Reed. Someone that just chipped and putted their way to a victory. So I would start with guys that can really hit it far and hit it up in the air. And those two guys, I mean, Will Zalatoris would be another name that would be. I know he's not a rookie anymore, but
fits the
he
mold of what
fit
you're
that
talking
same
about,
mold,
yeah.
and he almost won the golf tournament the last couple years.
Yeah, and he's in good form now. And that's a guy that a lot of people love as well. For Wyndham, we often refer to this as, from a right-hander's perspective, this is a drawer's golf course, right? And Wyndham is famous for that kind of big power fade. I mean,
that's a question.
We're better than the 18th hole at LACC in the U.S. Open where he blew that thing right, biggest fairway in the world. But I mean, does that give you pause at all? Or, I mean, you think he has enough shots in his bag to where you can kind of work around that?
He hits it so far with his 3-wood that I don't think it's going to be a big bugaboo. I just think about the new tee box that they planted on 2, that they moved it back and a little bit to the left. There's probably only a couple guys that can actually carry that bunker with the driver. Wyndham may be one of them if he absolutely hammers one. But I think 13 as well helps him a ton. That tee box is 30 yards back, because now he can just absolutely send a driver and just cut it over the left side. I do think there's just like 3 or 4 shots that if he's able to execute them, the rest of the golf course is fine. It's just 3 or 4 shots that you got to be able to kind of turn over. But I guarantee he's been thinking about that shot for a while, knowing that he's a fader of the golf ball.
And then on Akshay, I mean, he just found out he gets in.
I like Akshay this week.
There's something about it where,
like Akshay.
I've asked this.
As long as his shoulders. Fine.
It sounds like I actually have. Let me show you all the physical research. This is another thing I love about Augusta National and the Masters is like they print out copies of every single press conference that happens. And so I just collected these things like I was like doing a book report or something.
Welcome to the TV compound.
And look at it. This is live. This is live research happening. I'm gonna thumb through because we have Akshay on the shoulder in here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There it is.
Akshay Bhatia press conference. All right, let's find the shoulder quotes here.
What did he say about that?
I know. I want to find it. I mean, this is really good radio right here. And maybe even better TV.
It's still fascinating.
Here we go. So here's a quote from Akshay's press conferences. He's asked, "Can you talk about your shoulder? How does it feel? And is this an injury you've had or did it just happen?" His answer, "Yeah, the shoulder is. It's going to be a work of progress for sure. I've had it happen 2-3 times. I had a full disc." Type of
too young for that, man.
He had a dislocation playing pickleball a couple years ago.
Oh, man.
So Pickleball Nation, stand up.
That is tough for golfers right now, the fist pump and the pickleball thing. But listen, all right, before we close the shop on the shoulder,
okay,
I'm buying on Akshay this week.
I love that. I mean, do you think, in a way, if a guy gets in and he hasn't spent any time thinking about it, it's kind of a blank slate. You just kind of go out and do what you've done.
Dude,
is there less there of a mental sort of?
He can hit all the shots out here. I'm telling you, he can hit all of the shots out here. He drives it straight enough. He hits it up in the air. I'll say that the irons need to probably be a little bit more up in the air. But when I think about golf courses that are long, that require guys to hit middle irons, Akshay comes to mind along with Cameron Young, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy. Akshay is on that list of 5 dudes that I'm like, give me this guy with a 4-iron, and I know he's going to hit it where he's looking.
That sounds like a guy that I want to sprinkle a little, kish on. I was looking for a way to do that.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So that's Akshay, and then let's move to our next trend, which is 18 of the last 18 winners were not the betting favorite for the week, and so
That one is wild to me.
it's a very interesting one.
Wild to me. So that goes all the way back to 2006.
2006, yeah.
So Tiger Woods. I'm trying to think of the years he won the Masters.
Well, I think that might have been. I mean, because if you think about Tiger's,
He would have been the favorite all the way through.
All the way through,
2000. Oh gosh, I don't know what. I feel like the Augusta Masters history buffs right now are just shaking
They're
their head
like
and
they're
not knowing.
screaming.
What do you mean you don't know?
You don't
It's
know.
2000, 2019.
yeah, no.
and,
So last time Tiger won was 05 until
Yeah.
2019. So
okay,
that
that's
trend
why he
follows.
was the bet. All right,
Yeah,
so
that
he's
trend
the
follows.
betting favorite for 10 plus years after that, let's say, and.
But this year is like, in terms of statistics, last year is the closest we've seen to a Tiger level performer. I mean, Scotty Scheffler's ball striking numbers last year were at a Tiger
And
level.
rightfully so, man.
And rightfully so.
He should be this much of a favorite. I'll say that
He's 4.5 to 1, and Rory's 11 to 1.
Let's say-
the second shortest odds.
I would say that maybe if John Rahm would have stayed on the PGA Tour and
Gonna be
if he
closer.
had won maybe Riviera or something like that, that would have been maybe an indicator of good play and a defender, a guy that can go win there again. So I think that's reflected a little bit in the odds there. That Rahm, I think, would have been the second. I know he's played well over at Live so far.
Yeah.
He's top 10 every week, hasn't won, but the eyeball factors of, let's say he was still on the PGA Tour and won twice already, I think the odds would be a little tighter there.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe some of those tournaments Scotty wins.
Yeah,
John
but the
contends.
trend,
The
to your point, Scotty would still be the favorite. And
100%. And by the way, like, we're going to get into it later on, but like, I think Scotty wins. Like, if people are asking for a pick this week, it's boring, but I think Scotty Scheffler wins this golf tournament.
it's
If
like
he
Novak
putts well,
Djokovic.
yeah,
It's like, oh, I'm gonna watch the U.S. Open final, but and you're looking for excitement,
Oh,
but you
Novak
already
won again.
it's like sitting there watching a movie that you really like with a friend that you just recently watched, and you're just like looking over there like every comment.
like
Oh,
this
is he gonna
part?
like this part? That's what it's like watching Novak Djokovic in a tennis match
Yeah.
because you know he's gonna win. You're like, ooh. Is he gonna like this reaction? That's what it's like
Yeah.
right
And
now.
watching Scotty
a little
Scheffler
bit
play golf.
with
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler. You're just like, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's so predictable. I've said this for a while now that he plays the same round of golf for 2 years now.
Yeah, and it just keeps going, and I think it's, and he misses a playoff in Houston by a shot. Otherwise, he goes to a playoff with Steven Yeager and maybe wins his third in a row, and he's looking to go
That honestly,
Nelly Corda status.
do you think
4 in a
that
row
kind
here.
of helps that he didn't win? That he just
Yeah.
The fact, like, I'm just looking at, it's almost like you don't want to get too hot.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You don't want to. It's like, you don't want to have a good range session before you go and play.
I'm just thinking, like, from a superstitious standpoint, I would be overthinking, like, man, I've
4
won
in a
way
row,
too many
yeah.
times heading into Augusta. What's gonna happen? Am I gonna like trip over my foot? Am I gonna? There's.
Well, the interesting thing I think there is that it's the last image we have in our head was actually he had 2 really good putting days in Houston. He had 2 days that were kind of like
It was
okay.
windy.
to be
We already
over.
discussed that.
Well, but I guess the point being that what was kind of loose coming down the stretch was his ball striking a little bit, and I'm not like putting us on alert for Scotty Scheffler ball striking. I'm more saying that's the last image we have in our heads of him. Like, do we think he's found a groove in those 2 weeks? He's going to be back to his usual self. I don't know. I mean, I still think he wins the tournament going away. It's just interesting. That's the last visual we had of Scotty on a golf course.
You know what's tough scene right now is I can't stop thinking about Scotty Scheffler's footwork. That my next range session, which has been a couple weeks now, I'm going to be trying his footwork
This
and
is kinda your thing.
thinking this is how like
This is gonna be the fix.
and I'm going to start hitting it dead straight every time, and I'm turning pro.
He's coming back, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to revive the Scotty footwork, and you're going to see
I think-
Smylie Kaufman making a start again at a tour event.
It could be
Third
the
classic.
It could be the difference.
Could make the difference. Okay, let's go to our next trend here, okay? 25 of 26 of the last 26 winners made the cut at the Masters the year before they won. So that rules out Rory McIlroy at 11 to 1. What are your thoughts on Rory this year?
Dude, last year was such an outlier with Rory. Like,
Weather,
nothing made sense.
yeah.
I mean, you could throw. He was in the good wave, dude. He wasn't in the bad wave.
I know, right?
it was such an outlier year because I watched him from the beginning of the year leading up to the Masters, and to me, I saw really good form. I don't know. I think he looks back on that time thinking he wasn't in form,
Yeah.
and he's been playing more this year to making sure he knows what he has.
Yeah.
But to me, watching him last year coming in, I was like, dude, this is the year. And then I saw things I haven't seen the entire season. So it was such an outlier week to me that I just didn't put any judgment on like what happened that week. It was just one of those crazy bad weeks that Rory McIlroy never has.
What do you make of his very intentional routine changes this year? Like, he was just in the press room. I mean, you're watching this on a Wednesday, but on a Tuesday,
I liked it.
10 minutes in and out.
I liked it.
It just showed up on property that day. Let me say this from the perspective of a neurotic overthinker. It's like sometimes, and I'm not comparing my golf to Rory McIlroy. I do this in a lot of things, but in golf as well. It's like, hey, that didn't work last time, so I'm going to do everything different. And then I show up and I'm like, wait, none of that actually made sense. Now I'm thinking too much about the fact that I'm doing something different than actually trying to play better golf or do whatever it is I'm trying to do better. So I wonder, like, are we overthinking too much with Rory here a little bit?
Every minute that goes by, I'm loving Rory McIlroy's chances today.
You're going for it. You're taking the bait.
I am so like they got the hook in. Like I am so in on Rory winning this week now, and this is all happening in the last 4 days. Going from the happy hour to like seeing that he was in the gym all week.
Happy hour mojo. I mean,
happy hour mojo. People are winning with that from the happy hour. That's happening, and I saw 2 shots from him today at Augusta National. He birdied 17 and he birdied 18. And I'm like, that's all I need to see. Rory McIlroy is going to win Augusta. He's going to win the Masters. It's the year he's going to win the Grand Slam. So stay tuned. One and done picks are not out yet. I don't know where I'm going yet.
Stay tuned for the one and done picks. We need more time. The last trend of the trends from Ron Klos, so I want to touch on as it connects to a player, is 11 of the last 14 winners finished 35th or higher in their last start before the Masters. And so the person I want to talk to here was 40-1 odds to win the tournament, Viktor Hovland, who finished T62 at his last start out of the Players.
Are we gonna break this news that Grant Wade is not
I don't
behind
even
him
think
this
we're
week?
breaking it. I think it was
Is it
all over.
out?
It was all over. I mean, here. Let me flip through my quote pile again here.
Well, if you haven't seen it, Viktor Hovland doesn't have.
He's working with Dana Dahlquist now.
Grant Wade is not behind him anymore. Watching him hit golf balls.
Can I read you this quote? Because this, and listen, Viktor Hovland, friend of the pod. Like I am a big Viktor Hovland fan. This doesn't inspire a ton
We're
of confidence.
Viktor guys.
He goes. The question is. It looked like you were working with Dana Dahlquist yesterday a little bit, and I want to go back to the end of last year. You were playing the best golf maybe of your career. It seemed like an interesting time to make a coaching switch. What went through that? And
Is
kind
this
of
the
where are
moderator
you
saying
right
this?
now?
This is just the moderator?
This is just, it could be a reporter. It could be, it's not.
This is the moderator. This is the Augusta
Whoa,
National
no.
moderator.
This is, we're doing live. We're learning about how press. The moderator tees it up, and then the reporter asks the question.
Oh, I thought you
There
were
we go.
reading that
Yeah,
part.
no,
Okay.
no.
No, I thought you were reading that.
So then Vic says that. He says, yeah, I'm still kind of looking for some opinions out there. But I feel like I'm on a good track right now, and we'll see where that takes us. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I was playing great golf last year, but it's not like I'm trying to change my golf swing. It's just sometimes the game of golf, you try to do the same every day, but then things aren't the same every day. When you go to the golf course, I took a huge break after last year. When I came back, things were a little bit different, and I had to kind of find my way back to where I think I'm going to play my best golf. And even at the end of last year, I still felt like, yeah, I was playing great, but I got a lot out of my game, and I didn't necessarily feel sustainable. But it's not like I consciously went in and said, hey, we're going to change everything up. I mean,
Dude,
what do you make of that?
I ever win the Tour Championship and change coaches,
why?
take a chair and break it over my head. Seriously,
I'll never
man.
write a note for that.
Oh, my God. It's just... it just...
Strange.
I think the one thing that's been going on. So let's talk about what Viktor Hovland has told us on the pod.
Okay.
He said, I've always been a guy that has kind of taken it back inside.
Yes.
On the way back. He's told us that, so he's got early rotation, his hands get up. So he's a player that has that in his DNA. And I talked to Grant Waite somewhere in Florida. He's like, yep, we're going to be aiming straighter. So Victor was a guy, every time I've watched him, he's aimed right. And now he's a guy that's going to be aiming straighter, taking it straight back. So, but when you've ever watched Victor Hovland set up to a golf shot, it's very unique because he sets up so far away from it. Like, his arms are so extended.
Yes,
You know what I mean? It's like, there's so much room.
And then it's like that
But
shallow move that's unique to him.
This is what happens. So, like, when your arms get so separated from you at setup, the only thing you can do is to keep them together. You're gonna have to take the club back inside.
Yeah.
If you take it back straight or outside, you immediately get disconnected. So he's gonna feel like immediately in his backswing, like, okay, something's off.
Yeah.
But when he was swinging it really well, he would take it back inside. His arms were connected. He would get it up to the top, and then he would get into super flexion,
Right.
and then just absolutely cover the golf ball. But what they
And
were
that was like you were talking about that aim right and that throw left shoulder move there, right?
Yeah. He was a super level shoulder guy, and I think what's happening right now is his motor pattern and his DNA, his golf DNA that he has told us, is now off. He doesn't know where to aim. So that is the one thing for me that was the biggest struggle. Is I had all the great information. I could hit it on the range, and Victor Hovland right now could probably hit it right where he's looking on the range. But the problem is when you get out to a golf course, especially like Augusta National, it's a big, big picture. You can see every shot in the world, but the targets are really, really small. So you could see all sorts of shots, and Victor Hovland used to be able to get on a tee or get on a par 3, and he knew exactly where to aim. He knew exactly what shot to play, and he knew exactly what club to pull. Right now, I wonder if he doesn't know exactly where to aim and he doesn't know what shot to play because he doesn't know what he has. And to me, that is a huge red flag. Maybe he goes out and plays good this week and shocks us all. But to me, the red flag is waving, and I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Which is very strange. Okay, all right. We have another person. Okay, thank you so.
Your mama's B&B.
Okay, that's great to know. Thank you so much for that information. We have another passersby. I don't know if I want to read this on the air because I have no idea what it is that I'd be reading. So I'm not going to read it on the air, but it's I think it might have been from the similar category as our last drop in. So we're gonna keep it moving. So here's what we got for you. So as we mentioned, these are trends from Ron Klos. We went through 5 of them. You should go to @PGA Splits 101 on X or Twitter to go through the other 20 and kind of see what Ron's thinking. As we kind of come out of that, there's one name that I want to talk about. Only one player in the field fits 19 of the 20 trends that Ron's laid out, and that's Xander Schauffele at 14-1.
Oh my God, is it really?
Dude, and
Is it time?
I think it might be time.
Are you jumping in the deep end?
I mean, this is where my head's at on this. You spoke with Trevor Immelman on the show a couple months ago, and he said
It's time.
I think
he
it's
did say
time.
it was time.
I think it's time for Xander, and I'm trying to find a spot for him, and I look at his past history here, and I'm like, it might be X-Man time.
Wow.
This year, this might be the year of the X. What do you? I would say that against the finish of the players was tough. Like, I know Scotty went out and won it, but that was just a tough scene. I felt like for Xander, and it's one of the. It's like I feel like he's a lock for a top 20, a top 10, probably even a top 5. I don't know if he has what it takes to get it over the line, but like if Scotty putts bad, like I'd say it this way: if Scotty does not putt well this week, this is who I think is going to win the golf tournament.
I like your play, and the reason why I do, and you mentioned the players, but I go all the way back to Riviera. And Riviera has been a really good indicator of Augusta National. Guys that have played well at Riviera have played well at the Masters. So you look at Adam Scott. He was a guy that played well at Riviera every single year. Tiger Woods never won there, but also played well for the most part there. I think Xander does and will win the Masters one day. If there's one event where I'm like, yep, that fits Xander. And I think the category to me that Xander's improved on this year is from talking to multiple people is like, holy crap, Xander's hitting it so far.
Yeah.
And when I've thought about Xander and his game, I've never thought about, oh wow, he's one of the longer players. And right now I'm hearing he's hammering the golf ball. So 7,600 yards, you got to be able to long to compete. And if he has that distance to be able to keep up with guys, I trust Xander's putter much more than I trust Scotty's putter.
Well, there you have it. That's running through some of our trends, some of the big names that we'll probably discuss again as we move on to the show and do one and done. I want to take a little bit of a turn here, and this is a segment I told you I wanted to kind of surprise you on a little bit here, right? So here's what we got for you. Is like, we get a lot of comments on YouTube, a lot of people telling us, hey, you guys are big PGA Tour shills. You know what I mean? You guys are always up for the tour, and when you're always kind of, you know, and I don't think that's true necessarily. I think
I'm a cleat guy.
So that's where I want to go. And I want to call this segment, this is wearing different hats. All right, we're going to put on some live hats now. And as I was thinking about this, I was like, do we want to do that figuratively, or do we want to do that literally? And so I brought you a little gift here. Okay.
What do you have?
I brought you a little prop here, and here's where we're gonna go first. If I get down my prop bag here, it'll be really helpful. Got a little something for you, buddy. I've got a little cleat set. This is straight off the Live Golf website, so you can't say we're not Live supporters. So this is for you, okay?
Oh my god!
So you get to put your cleat set on. Now
I'm not putting it on. I'll put it right here.
There, that's fair. Yeah. You can just make sure it's in the frame.
That's how big
there.
of a
That's
supporter
good.
I am.
Good.
I won't even put the hat on.
It's like you're picking which college you're going to. Now, for me, as you know, I'm a longtime wild cards guy. Right?
You are a wild cards guy. I can't wait to see what this looks like.
And you know that I've been trying hard to get one of those Anthony Kim wildcard hats. To no success. I went to the website 3, maybe 4 times. Couldn't find it. So I took matters in my own hands, Smylie. And I went on a really janky custom hat site, and I made myself
it's a wild,
a wild card.
It's kind of like the Aces, but a Joker version.
It's a card. And then come to find, they sold these hats this weekend in Miami, so I could have just waited like a week. And
put it on, brother.
Should I put it on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my Live hat. Let's go ahead and put my Live. So this is the segment. This is wearing different hats. So this is really just.
This is awesome. Look at this Cleeks hat. I mean, y'all know how much I don't care about the Cleeks.
Big Cleeks guy. So now that we have our Live hats on, let's talk some Live guys, okay? So we touched on Rahm a little bit in the sort of the trend section. So let's get right into like Brooks at 18-1. I mean, this guy was right there last year. Goes on to win a major. He even kind of spoke in his press conference today about, you know, there's some stuff he didn't want to share, but he felt like he didn't have the right mindset heading into the final round last year. And if he had to do it again, he won't make that same mistake. Where are we at on Brooks this year?
I am not buying Brooks this year. And I do this every year with Brooks at a major. I'm like, nope, not buying it. I'm going to continue that trend.
This hat's uncomfortable. I'm taking it off.
Okay. I'm not buying Brooks this year to top 10. Right now, that's where I stand. And the reason why I just don't like the putter change the week before the Masters, and he's not in form based on what I've seen. But listen, I haven't watched Live Golf all year, so how am I just look at the scores, and to me it just doesn't seem like a guy that's just going to come in here and dominate the Masters. But he does this all the time, so I'm just going to continue to doubt him, and he's going to continue to prove me wrong. So that's the stance I'm going to take.
The next guy, this guy's in consideration for my one and done pick here.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stop coming back to this name. I'm looking at the odds board. I'm trying to kind of find the guys I like, and his name just keeps popping up. I think it's the price has kind of fluctuated, you know, depending on what you're trying to do with this pick. You know, it's like, is this the right value for this guy? But Joaquin Niemann at 28-1, man, do I like that name. And this is another shout out to Dylan DeChair, because I was like, Dylan, I saw him earlier. I was like, Dylan, I'm thinking about going with Joaquin. What do you think? And he said, I like that a lot because of that Riv connection. You know, he's won at Riv, a lot of similarities. So
I sit here and look at his pairing. He's playing with Nick Taylor and Russell Henley.
Okay.
That is like the most low-key, chill pairing for a guy to like be up by 4 heading into the weekend. I look at Xander Schauffele, Rory, and Scotty playing together as like I almost want to avoid all 3 of them because it's so hard for all 3 to play really well. You see it all the time when you get these big marquee groups. Most of the time they stink it up. So I'm a little cautious right now with those 3 dudes, even though I love all 3 of them. So, man, Joaquim. I'm a big Joaquim fan. I wish he would have never left because he just felt like he was just getting started on the PGA Tour. You know what I mean? Like winning at Riv and just being on the cusp of being the next young international player. You know, we saw him at the President's Cup be the next guy that maybe would be the one who challenges these U.S. President's Cup teams. But Joaquim, to me, man, I like the pick this week. He's played unreal over there at the Live Golf Tour. 59 at Mayakoba, I know is something that I could put into words because I've played there. There's not a 59 out there. I don't know where he found it. So
yeah.
I mean, that used to be a PGA Tour course. Now a Live Golf Tour course. Wins the Aussie Open. And it's got all the tools, man. I love the golf swing. It's, to me, it's similar to like an Akshay in that I love the mechanics. The mechanics are there. Can he putt good enough? That, to me, is the big thing. I don't know if he can putt good enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those things where I like what you've laid out in terms of like the vibe of the group. I mean, I look at these pairings and I look at like Max Homa in a group with Tiger Woods and Jason Day, and I kind of feel for the guy. It's like it's gonna be an uphill battle. Don't you
feel like it? You got to find some of these pairings that like, okay, who's got the least amount of pressure and who's not watching their group. I don't think anybody's
who can just comfortably make a cut and then focus on the weekend.
Nick Taylor, Joaquim Neiman, and Russell Henley, like all 3 of those dudes are going to be in the top 10 going to the weekend.
I love that call.
Because I like all 3 of those players. Nick Taylor's played incredible this year. Good course fit, in my opinion. Russell Henley, you know how I feel about him this week.
Yeah, I think for good reason. I mean, we could go through a few of these other names. You know, DJ 40-1, Bryson 40-1, Cam Smith 50-1, Tyrrell 55-1.
I want to touch on Cam Smith.
Let's touch on Cam because that's one that I'm highly intrigued about. Cam, you know, I always keep trying to go for Cam at this course.
To me, he's the Patrick Reed model with a better iron game. He's Patrick Reed, better irons. If he can just drive it good. That to me is the big indicator for him. If Cam Smith doesn't have the big misses, then he competes. It's kind of like Scotty. You know, like if he has a good putting week, he competes and has a chance to win. Cam Smith is the exact same way.
Well, and I think
but opposite.
Well, exactly. It's one glaring weakness, and does the course suit that glaring weakness, right? Like if it's a big ballpark where there's not a lot of trouble off the tee,
the length hasn't helped,
right?
Because they keep adding length.
Yeah, and so you're getting more and more penalized for those misses off the tee.
Guess what happens when you start hitting it more crooked with more length? The dispersion gets larger. So that to me is, it's you got to be able to keep it in front of you for the most part out here.
Well, and Cam to me felt like for a while similar to a Xander mold, where like he kind of got in a rhythm where he was playing well every single year here, and you're just thinking it's just a matter of time, and kind of culminating with that sort of duel with Scotty in 2022, where he made a lot of mistakes in the back nine, kind of throws the tournament away. And not that Scotty didn't go out and win it, but he's a guy where every year I look at him and I'm like, could this be the year? Now, he showed up last year and said on his own admission, I really didn't take this offseason as seriously as I should have. Maybe a little complacent due to live money. And he played, not poorly, but, for his standards, it wasn't a Masters finish that, was up on par with some of his more recent finishes where he did really well. But I just wonder if maybe this year a little more focus. Hasn't been playing great on live, but again, it's like we're not necessarily using that as a barometer for whether or not they're going to play good here. So that one's intriguing to me.
Yeah, I think so. And if anybody on that list, I think Bryson's interesting. I think he's going to have a nice year in the majors. I think he played too well last year in the majors, and he's played well on the live so far. That I don't think you can rule out Bryson having a really good driving week and being able to turn par fives into par fours like he's talked about doing out here, but hasn't been able to execute it quite to what we think he can be capable of out here, which is Bryson could win this tournament by a couple shots. You know what I mean?
You see Bryson with the Eclipse glasses?
Yeah,
Just top tier content.
the guy's a content machine. Whether you like it or not.
I really enjoyed that. There's one last name on here. It's kind of intriguing. Playing well on live. I know we don't know how to ballpark that. Sergio at 110 to 1. A lot of people kind of like Sergio this week.
I like Sergio a lot this week. I seeing him play well the week before the Masters, I'm like, ooh, that's gonna slide in the lineup, if you know what I mean. So love Sergio this week. Plays good here, and I'm gonna ask you this: who to you, like, if you had to pick the perfect villain with the fan favorite for like perfect TV, what would be the two guys going at it where it would be good versus evil for you?
You're talking about like a final pairing on Sunday?
No, down the stretch. Like these two guys are in a playoff or they're on the 18th hole, and it comes down to good versus evil here.
What was that? Did a train just come through here? Did you hear
know.
that? I don't know what that was. Good. I mean, we're talking about the guy we're just talking about right now. I mean, can you imagine like a Tiger Sergio Garcia situation? I mean, that would be.
You think that would do it? Like, I think let's
like old guys dueling.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of like who would be the one that everybody wants to win. So I guess Tiger would be that. But
yeah, I mean,
against. So who would?
Well, you want like a modern version of that?
Like who would everybody be cheering against? I guess like a Tiger. Like
how about like a Jordan Spieth Patrick Reed situation?
That to me would be
electric.
Electric. That to,
Electric.
So you're saying Jordan Spieth and Patrick Reed is yours? I'm gonna go. I see. A lot of people really like Bryson, but he is polarizing. That a lot of people
Right.
don't. So maybe a Bryson.
It's tough. I mean, all the villains seemingly are on live these days.
Yeah, which makes for great TV. So
or like a Brooks Patrick Cantlay situation.
yes, again, run it back.
Yeah, I mean, like let's get more of that.
Which is opposite though.
Well, you got the guy who plays fast, guy who plays slow.
Yeah.
So our props have now been stolen by some hooligans over here. So that I guess that concludes perfect time, and that concludes our wearing different hats. Even though we didn't really wear the different hats.
Yeah.
That's our live
Shout out to
segment.
my cliques.
You can keep your cliques at
Yeah.
my homemade live whatever this wild cards hat. Here you can hand me that prop.
No, I'm gonna keep it here.
You'd like to keep the props thing.
Like to everybody know I'm a Queeks guy.
Okay, that's perfect. So then now we're moving into this is the moment we've all been waiting for. We made it in 48 minutes into the show. Everyone's hanging around. I think it's time to make. Wait, here, hold on. We got to do some sound effects. It's time for the one and done.
It is time for the one and done.
You're here because we're on a heater, more than likely. You want to know who we're going to pick this week. So let's just briefly recap. So we're 4 for 7 in our last picks.
Yes.
Our wins are I took Jake Knapp at the Vedanta Mexico Open. I took Scotty Scheffler at the Players. You took Steven Yeager, the Texas Children's Houston Open, and I took Akshay Bhatia at the Valero Texas Open.
Yep.
So we're on a little bit of a heater right now. So now, of course, as you know, one and done, the way that works is each of us get to take a player once before they are burned. Smylie has not used Scotty Scheffler this year. And so in the lead up to this, essentially we've been functioning as if Scotty Scheffler is the de facto pick for Smylie. I mean,
I kind of want to mix it up.
Please.
I kind of want to mix it up.
Because you realize that when Scotty wins, we stay on our heater. Like, you got to do this for the show.
I'm going to take Scotty.
You're going to take Scotty.
Not happy about it because I got so many good ideas right here in the brain that just haven't been used yet.
And I mean, do you need to give any justification as to why you're taking Scotty other than everything we've already said?
I don't think anything needs to be said. I mean, Scotty Scheffler could win this event by 6 shots. I don't think anybody would be surprised. But listen, I feel really comfortable about using him this week because of the firm greens. To me, if I had heard coming into the week, wow, the greens are soft, I would have not picked Scotty.
Yeah.
But
Scotty it is.
Scotty it is.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and to be clear, I mean, if you're wanting to know who to pick and you can take Scotty Scheffler, I would tell you, please go take Scotty Scheffler. This is the place where it makes sense. Please go do that. I thought he was going to win 4 in a row. Narrowly missed out on that at the Houston Open, but I'd advise that. But I've already burned him at the Players, which was a win. And I keep seeing the same three guys in my head. If I'm like giving you advice as to who to take, just one player outright. It's Scotty and it's Xander and it's Joaquin. Like I
got a book full of really good ideas here that none of those dudes.
I know you like a lot of other guys, and maybe you can throw out some additional ideas after that. But I think I'm between Xander and Joaquin. And I'm also kind of thinking of the strategy play here of like.
I feel like you've talked yourself into Xander at this point.
No, quite the opposite. I mean, I think where I'm at is I want to use a live guy here. Because it's kind of a majors only situation.
Yeah.
I love the way Joaquin's been playing. I love the Riv Augusta comparisons with the thanks to Dylan DeChair for, some notes there. I'm going to go with Joaquin Niemann this week. So we're
put your cap on. It's like your college decision.
That's great.
Wait, but he's not a wild card.
He's not a wild card.
What is he?
Torque.
Okay.
Shout
out to the Torque.
Torque?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what. So there you have it. If you're tailing our picks, Scotty and Joaquin Niemann are the picks for this week.
I took Scotty.
I mean, it's safe play. It's a great play for us as a show. Any other? I mean, you were talking about other ideas. So because basically what we have next is we have our DFS draft. So we're doing something a little bit different this week. We drafted a team together, a daily fantasy lineup together several weeks ago, and kind of took turns picking, workshopped together. But this week we're gonna draft. The way we're gonna do that is we can't take players on the other guy's team. So hopefully what we're gonna do is kind of sketch out a lineup that's a little unique on both sides. So you had the first pick in the one and done. So by virtue of that, I have the first pick in DFS.
Please. So take Scotty.
So I'm going to take Scotty. So I mean,
I like that because it gives me more wiggle room to be able to do more
that's
with
sort
my
of a
team.
plug and play. Yeah. There's no way I wasn't going to go with that. So
I have the next two.
You have the next two. So
give me Hideki and give me Jordan Spieth.
Okay. Wow. All right. Here we go. We're just going to do it. So you're going to go Hideki and Jordan Spieth. All right. So I'm coming back to me now. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in Scotty here, and I'm going to look. So if you're going Hideki and Jordan Spieth, I feel like – so now I have a decision to make here. What do I want my second player to be? And it's like Xander and Waco. And I might just – man, that's a high – I'm gonna go with Joaquin in the DFS one. Okay.
So you have Scotty and Joaquin Niemann. I feel like that's –
So my average remaining player about – it is top-heavy, but – I want two horses. So I'm going Scotty Joaquin. So let's see here. So let me scroll down here and get you set up so I can tell you what you have. So, by the way, I'm sure you talked to Jordan about his injury, that wrist injury flaring back up.
Did he talk about it in his...
He did.
Yeah. I think he's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a hot tip. So you have an average remaining per player of just shy of $8,000. Do you want to skim through here and see who you like?
Nope. Give me Sahith Theegala.
Okay. All right. Let me type that in to see what kind of prices we're working with there. He's $7,700. So that keeps you on schedule. You now have about an average of $8,000 per player left. Mm-hmm. So you have Hideki.
You can go and put Shane Lowry on there whenever you get a chance.
Oh, that's right, because we're snaking it now. Oh, wait. I didn't get my second snake pick.
Well, you're not picking Shane Lowry. I'm picking
him. I was going to maybe take – we got lost in the snake.
Yeah, but were you going to pick Shane
We always
Lowry?
get lost in this. So I get 3 picks now? All right, that's fine. You can do both yours.
You weren't going to pick Shane Lowry.
You can do both yours, and I'll just take 3. I was not going to pick Shane Lowry. I'm not even sure. That's for the sake of the show. All right, so you still have 8,000 remaining because Shane is 8,000. See, I actually really like your team. You have Shane Lowry, Hideki Matsuyama, Jordan Spieth, and Sahith Theegala.
Come on, dude.
That's a lineup right there.
Team looks great.
All right, so now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to get Scotty. I'm going to get Joaquin. And now I get 3 picks unless I'm completely lost in the snake at this point. Okay, so I got to go with a more affordable option here. I'm going to plug in Corey Connors.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Love Corey at 7,500. I think that's a really
Is Cam
good.
Young too expensive for me right now?
Cam Young, his price is 8,500. So if you're going to go there, you're going to leave yourself 7,500 for your last player.
All right, give me Cam Young.
Well, no, I have 3 picks.
Oh, you have 3 picks?
Yes, because we got lost in the snake. I had one
There's
pick,
a
lost
chance
the snake, and I have 2 more picks in the
There's
snake.
a chance you would have picked Cam Young, but I'm not positive.
Well, we're gonna find out. I'm gonna go Akshay.
Oh man, I hate that.
So let me see here. So now I have Akshay, Corey Connors, Joaquin Neiman, Scotty Scheffler, and I have 6,800 per player. And now I'm gonna go back in. Let's see here. Who do I want to go with here? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Nick Taylor.
Okay, good pick. Good pick. Nick Taylor. We already said Nick Taylor, Neiman, and Russell Henley are all going to be in the top 10.
All right, so tell me your team back here because you get your final 2 picks here.
Okay. Can Russell Henley fit in my lineup?
Well, let's see here. So you had Spieth, you had Matsuyama, you had Thigala, and you had Lowry.
And then if I can get Cam Young and Russell Henley, that would be great. But I don't think that all works.
Right, let me
that math doesn't probably check out.
Let me see who Henley. Oh, wait a second now. Oh, you might have just done it.
Is that my team?
Wow, that's your team.
So I have
Russell Henley, Shane Lowry, Hideki Matsuyama, Jordan Spieth, Sahith Theegala, Cam Young.
that team.
That's a good
super
looking
hot fire
team. All right, now it's time for me. So I had Scotty, I had Joaquin. I've already forgotten my team.
You're having to like plug them in.
Well, I kind of have to go back and forth. Is the nature of Corey Connors.
Yeah.
And then I had Akshay, and then I had Nick Taylor. So I have 6,600 to spend.
Is that it? God, Scotty's so expensive. That's the
He's
problem.
so expensive. Yeah. That's your strategy might be the winner.
I think it is because there's too many other guys. But the problem is,
You're
left at the altar
go
when
with,
Scotty wins. That's the thing.
I'm gonna go with here. Should I go with Eric Van Rooyen or Lucas Glover? If you're advising me.
I mean,
That's not the reaction I wanted right there.
well, it's just
tough
is
at that price
Siwoo
point.
Kim available for you?
He's too expensive.
God, I like Siwoo Kim this
Yeah,
week.
Scotty and Joaquin kind of blew me out of the water here. a little
Siwoo
bit.
Kim is the guy that I wish I would have probably.
Oh, you know what? Here
fit his way in the lineup.
on a lark, I'm gonna go Denny McCarthy.
Oh yeah,
Ride the hot
yeah,
hand.
Yeah.
All right, so
Go
I've got
Denny.
Akshay, Corey, Denny McCarthy, Joaquin Neiman, Scotty Scheffler, and Nick Taylor.
I like Eric Van Rooyen, by the way, this week.
Okay.
Just, I know that was the laugh was more of just be like, ugh.
Yeah, like
I
where
was-
we are.
I
Well,
was kind of hoping that you had like.
What's
some
interesting there
options here.
is it really is helpful from a DFS perspective because it kind of gives you a picture of if you're going to pick Scotty, you got to be ready to kind of go down on the bargain basis.
Yeah,
That's
I like
how-
that. I love Hideki Matsuyama this week, and I almost picked him in the one and done, but I felt obligated to keep our hot streak going.
Yeah.
So I'm
glad
really,
you did.
really, really excited about the PGA. I already have my pick locked in my head. You can't undo it. Right here, it's locked and keyed. Can't change it. So, just so you
Unless I
know,
had the first pick, which would be really unfortunate for you.
then potentially I have a problem. Yes.
So those just to recap: Smiley's lineup: Russell Henley, Shane Lowry, Hideki Matsuyama, Jordan Spieth, Sahith Theegala, Cam Young. God, I love that lineup. I'm going to play that lineup somewhere. I have Akshay Bhatia, Corey Connors, Denny McCarthy, Joaquin Neiman, Scotty Scheffler, and Nick Taylor. I don't hate that lineup either.
I don't hate it, but mine's like has
He's very
more
solid.
potential for top heavy play, where yours is a little bit more on
mine's
the
top heavy, yours
like
the balance.
You have guys missing cuts.
Yes, maybe, possibly, probably.
You need everything to kind of go right.
It's like it's a Hail Mary play, and then
Where
Scotty
mine,
just take us to the
I
promised
have like
land.
all my dudes could win, but
Yeah.
I do have some volatility as well. So
Well, there you go. That's it. That's the portion that we gave you some picks, we gave you some names. So hopefully you can do something with that, and hopefully the heater continues. That's really what we're here for, Scotty, to continue on the heater. We're coming to the close of the show. As you can kind of tell, the background noise has dipped a little bit. I think they're clearing tables over here. They might want us to get out here pretty soon. So we're just gonna close up with just some big picture Masters stuff. I borrowed this from Taylor Zarzer. He had a really, really cool show on Sirius XM Masters Radio where he interviewed both Mike Nance and Jim Nance and not Mike Nance. Jim Nance and Mike Tirico as part of like a preview special. You can find that on the app. Really, really cool. And so he asked 3 questions, and it was favorite food item, favorite merch item, and favorite Masters moment. So let's start with you first. Favorite food item.
The Masters Club.
Okay.
That's my favorite food item.
Any honorable mentions there?
I'm really excited about trying the chicken salad tomorrow, and I might
Chicken salad's good.
I might change my pick for next week. So
Chicken salad's good on a whole wheat, better on a bun if you can find it on a bun.
okay.
I would say my honorable mentions, the breakfast sandwich is elite. And I've been doing this thing recently where I'll take a pimento cheese sandwich and I'll open it up and I'll put potato chips inside.
On
Not
the chicken.
Not the chicken. But I put potato chips on the pimento cheese sandwich. That's great. But my far and away winner, I've had 25 to 30 of these this week already, moon pies. I could eat 1,000 moon pies. I will every time I go up to get something to eat in the press building, I'm like, oh, you know, we'll pair great with that is a moon pie, and then I just go ahead and grab that.
So next one's merch.
Next one's merch.
You know, for me, I got so much stuff.
It must be tough for you, man. You just having so much stuff.
A really good hat would be where I go.
Okay. So it's not like a specific hat or like
no
a style
lettering,
of hat.
no lettering. Something that has maybe even a different bill color than the top, but definitely just a flag. No big letters. I'm very simple when it comes to how I like my hats.
Okay, I like that. I'd say for merch, I mean, it's changed over the years. This is a well documented dad pod here, so like I'm thrilled to like be shopping for my son, and looking for all those fun. Like the favorite thing I got last year was the little mini putter that has the year on it. That like when they can stand up, they can use that as their putter. I'm also like, I hate to admit it, but I've become a little bit of a gnome guy. Not the full size gnome. You cannot get the full size gnome.
I'll never understand the gnome.
Oh,
thing.
the mini gnome guy.
The gnome thing makes zero sense
pretty
to
cool,
me.
dude.
For a guy that doesn't understand the Lord of the Rings, like I told you earlier, the gnome thing isn't the same deal. It's like, what Star
wouldn't
Wars,
understand.
the gnome, like I feel like all these people hang out at the same place.
That's like the gnomes is like, it's like Pokemon collector cards. That's like, loves the elves and Lord of the Rings.
I'm gonna get a coffee mug tomorrow though. I'm gonna go find like a really cool coffee
Okay.
mug, big coffee mug collector. So I'm gonna probably do that.
So that I think that checks that box. Now talk to me about what's your favorite Masters moment of all time.
Well, I got some trauma in there for myself. So,
Could be one that you lived, or it could be one that you watched. It could be really anything.
God, favorite Masters moment. I mean, from ones that I've watched, it's got to be for me the Tiger Woods chip in on 16. Like to me, that's the no-brainer. I feel like that's the cliche answer. Personal experience, I would say the hole-in-one I had in the par 3 was like up there, like way up there. But what about you?
I'd say, I mean, anyone from our generation is going to, like I was 9 years old in 97 when Tiger won. So, I'd watched golf prior to that, but that's like my first golf memory was the 97 Masters. But because that one is so often used, just that last putt going in, Tiger hugging his dad.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But I'd say that the one, I was with my mom in 2022 following Cam and Scotty. It kind of came down, and so
That's why you're a Cam guy, aren't you?
I've kind of been a Cam guy, and so the one that was stuck out to me was, first of all, Scotty Scheffler almost hit us in the head with the drive on one.
Oh, really?
I'd watched him pull it all week long. I'm like, Mom, if we go left side right here, he's gonna hit it like right here.
He definitely has a pull in his game.
And
yeah.
it dropped like right in front of us. I can like show you the video. We're standing right behind him and Ted Scott to get that shot on one. Amazing punch. But on 3, so we kind of stayed there. We kind of angled it. And on 3, when they both pulled it left, and they both took drops, and Cam hit a really good chip up there tight, and Scotty hit that sort of screamer into the hill. I'm like, and it goes in. I was like, wow.
Yep.
He's setting the tone.
Yeah,
for the day.
so that's
That
your
was
personal Masters
super
moment.
cool to watch that live. Yeah.
And that's why you go watch the Masters in person, because you just cannot
Nothing like it.
you cannot do it. I mean, it's just the coolest thing ever when you hear those roars.
Yeah, and you got a pimento sandwich that you stuff some potato chips inside. You got a
I
moon
might do
pie.
that tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna
Give
follow
it a
your
shot.
lead. I'm gonna follow your lead.
Definitely give it a shot.
It is 11:41.
It's 11:41, and I still have to edit this. So a little inside baseball for you there.
So when you're watching this tomorrow morning, just be like, send a note to Charlie and be like,
Please.
man, thank you, Charlie.
Thank
You're
you.
doing a really good job at what you do. and he's going to need a cup of coffee tomorrow and a lot of moon pies.
I'm going to be wandering around. If you're going tomorrow, I'm going to be wandering around Augusta National just hallucinating. So I look forward to that. But Smylie, I'd say, what do you think? This has been a lot of fun. Our maiden voyage with Sports Grid.
Got a Cleeks
live
hat
from T-Bonz. Got a Cleeks hat. I mean, it's pretty good. Any final thoughts you got for the audience here as we send them off?
Man, it's just really fun. Can't wait to do this again. Hopefully next year, but love the people here at T-Bonz, and I feel like our lineups and our picks are going to be winners again. Who knows?
I love it. It's been a lot of fun. We appreciate all of you watching, listening. We're back in your podcast feeds. We're on Sports Grid TV. Thanks so much for joining us.
We're back.
We will talk to you soon with some Master Journals. So, talk to you then.